We chose Right Honorable Edwin Umesoke in 2007. Came round again, leader with Igbos. Learning a lesson, learning a lesson. They said, oh, they gave us this. What are we going for? They wanted 100% for the same PDP. 1999, 100% PDP. 2003, 100% PDP. 2007, 100% PDP. 2011, 100% PDP. 2015, 100% PDP. 2019, 100% PDP. When it came to their turn in 2023 to present PDP candidates, so that it will be a southern rotation business between President Tinubu and whoever was nominated in the southeast or wherever in the south. Atiku and his cohorts elevated greed from vice to virtue and said the PDP business is open, that they can't do zoning anymore. And that same zoning is Section 7 of the PDP Constitution. It's the only political party that has zoning and rotation in the Constitution. In spite of the fact that we're an APC, we issue statements cautioning them. How can you violently breach a convention? And the same thing with the law. You will hear the British government, they don't have a written constitution because they rely on convention. And it's that same convention that produced His Excellency Atiku, who I have great respect for, because he was very close to my late brother, to the Bemo here.
Yes, he was.
But when he was doing this, he even forgot that his in-law of the Igbos, that they married one Jennifer who had common children with him. They agreed. My friend, Governor Bala Mohammed, who gave me the plot of land where I live in Abuja, I called him, I said, my brother, why are people doing this to us? Okay, if you hate the Igbos, give it to South-South. Being a convention, there's, no, don't worry yourself. Luckily for us, Obi had left. When two Southerners are running, it happened in 1993 when Zik was running and Awolowo was running. Shagari had to win both of them in 79, won them in it. I said, things have changed. That's for those patriots who love the same country. They need peace. Yes, you might say it's not democratic, but every country, like Swiss people, in Switzerland, they started rotation in 1488, and it's still existing in the place. Yes, people say you're working hard to be president. Please let us work as well. If you say you are stealing, let us steal as well. Please deal with them. There was no kind of argument they didn't make. But that was what produced the weekend masquerade. The disintegration of the PDP, one of the most formidable political parties in the country, that has grassroots in every polling unit. Who told them PDP is going? Help to salvage your party. Don't fly the ticket, it won't work. Atiku assumed that the Buhari is not running. And who told them he's not Buhari? He doesn't have organic followership in the north up to tomorrow. His people who challenged me the other day, I was in television saying so. They said, how can you be saying this about this? But I said, does he have that? Organic relationship with the people is natural. It's not by force, it's not by your money. They know Buhari doesn't have money, but they have organic relationship with him. The fact that he had money was also part of what they didn't like, because they know he didn't discover electric. No, a window in a computer. They are repeating it again in ADC. By this time in 2014 and 2015, the Nigerian people had an idea who the APC would fly as a presidential candidate. Courtesy of people like Tinubu, Amechi, and others. Tinubu came and told Buhari, I'm not going to run. Who supports you? You have demonstrated you have a vote bank of 10-12 million in about 3 elections. You are the only person who supports. And luckily for us that day, they came to Buhari's house in Asu Drive, and we were there. He came with Chief Akonde, and Buhari went up with him with Mama Ndara, his nephew. When they came back from the States, they wanted to go, but he said, no, what you said here, tell these people, these are my people. Tinubu stood up and told us that they have decided to support Buhari. And that he understood that we are not happy that the convention of the APC will hold in Lagos in December of 2014. We said yes. And that was the one that asked President Tinubu. I said, sir, you are very close to Atiku and the Kwankwaso. You belong to them in the political house, the road of Legend Eradua, the Patriotic Front. He said yes. He said yes, my brother. That was a good question. I told them I will not support them. Because they came from the same geopolitical zone with Buhari, and Buhari had been amassing votes there. They didn't. That he supported Atiku in 2007. He didn't get that vote. He supported everybody in 2011. He didn't get that vote. That the best for him as a strategist is to bring supplementary votes to make up Buhari's 12 million votes. That was his calculation, and it worked. The 15.something million votes Buhari got, most supplementary was from the Southwest. Disintegration of the PDP started that day. People said that it will be a fool if you don't know when the rain started beating you. Now, in coming back to after killing PDP, they went out and hijacked the ADC. In coming back there, they still are having that idea that the northern electorate, one of the most sophisticated electorate in the country, they're in a dormitory, that the since Buhari is dead, if Atiku is brought, they will all line up. How? How would that happen? Now he had lost his governor. And he cannot say there's somebody in this circle who has a organic following like Buhari, his own latitude. They're less supplementary like Tinubu did. He won't say so because for him, greed is a virtue.
So you're saying that PDP actually
was killed.
And then they're responsible for what they now call a one-party state.
No, the one-party state, I'm not afraid of that. As I told you at the beginning of this program, we're so lucky. The tangles of strains and constraints that hold the country together, nobody can break it. If you say now you want to okay, let us say Tinubu tomorrow decide, let us go. Go where? The greatest investment in Lagos is owned by a northerner. Unless he kill him. And some of our brothers here, they might come here with small handbag. But they own the investment in Lagos as well. These banks you see here are owned by people. You might not know their region. But the day you start saying you want to do this, you want to do that, say our investment in Enugu is gone. So those are the tangles that hold us together. It's not what anybody can wish away. And there are marriages as well, which is one of the greatest bonds. People say that if you have a common child with a woman, the root cannot be cut anymore.
Really?
You can cut the root of an Iroko, but you can't cut the root of your in-law if your sister has a child for him.
Okay. Let's talk about the ADC in particular. That's brought my attention to this question. In all honesty, you mentioned it in past, but I want you to come out more. You say the ADC and other parties attempting to form a national consensus against the ADC. What's your honest assessment of the ADC as a political party? President Fellows?
I don't know whether you know the Igbo culture, which I know you know. When we want to make a masquerade, we will start talking about the spirits that we should know should have the big masquerade.
Yes.
They have not done that. So how would the children follow you? How would the women clap? If you don't tell us the big masquerade, how do we go about following your dancing troupe? Less than a year to the election. One of that guy man is still there, insisting. The other man is insisting. The other man is insisting. So how do you go about that? Unless if there's a magic. But they should not blame anybody. Put your house in order. Learn from past mistakes. When some of us failed, got what did they call it in WAEC, and our friends in the class went to university. Want to sit back and work hard. I came to university, though we came late, but they will see got to the university.
Hey, okay, let me just come a little bit home, actually. You've been in Enugu for, I don't know how often you come to Enugu. And at the beginning, you gave a good impression that the current administration in Enugu State is doing wonderfully well. You said above average, if I use your word. Some people think otherwise. And they talk about a few things. They talk about the taxation in Enugu State, it says, because they're talking about investors coming. Well, I just read a piece yesterday that investors are running away because of taxation. Now, it's what I would call a Sunday or Wendy in Igbo land. But 2 years and 10 months, I want you to look at the camera. The people of Enugu State are listening to you. What would be, in collective terms, your personal assessment of the leadership style of Peter December of Enugu State?
Okay, if I come from one angle, there are some colleagues of ours. Their own complaint is that Mba is not giving welfare. And I reminded them that people are the same people here who are complaining that my good friend, His Excellency Ifeanyi, did not do any project, but it's only on welfare. Somebody came, he's looking through the project's mirror. But this project don't mature in a day. Did you see the health center I saw in Eke? They said, yes, leave the health center. What is health center? Are we going to, all of us, are we sick? I think I talked to him about the taxation himself. And he showed me the committee he has set up to stop those who try to exploit it.
Yes.
Which are normally there. There are multi-bandits in our society. All they need is small opening to, if I use the word of the Oxford Dictionary, that bandit is somebody who takes unfair advantage of the other. So to that extent, but not actually. Luckily for Mba, the Nigerian state had enacted a tax law. And that tax law is not about you in a state to neglect. In the same tax law, the same VAT, the same across the whole country. So I don't think anybody who is going outside that tax law, I don't think he had the authority from that to be doing so. I'm saying that for the people to be aware. And he even said that even in markets, there are complaint points of the leaders of the market, like Obet and others, where they should complain those who are coming to hassle them and talk of taxation. So I don't think that's the matter. The other day I was driving from OP. I saw work going on, that they want to expand the lane. I also noticed that in certain places, work is going on. I don't think they will mature in one day, no matter whichever amount. Unluckily for him, when we were pleading with the Minister of Works, who said, leave MTN to complete Enugu-Onitsha Road, that we canvass for this. That there was a time we were coming to 2019 presidential election, and we told President Buhari that no one federal road had been completed. What do we do? He said we should meet Fashola. And we went to Fashola's office. And he told us, my brothers, that we started this regime not much money. That when we have, say for instance, 300 billion, that you bring up 6 roads. But when it gets to the National Assembly, they will start putting their village roads for the same amount. And immediately it becomes law, you are compelled to split the money down the line. That we should go back to Mr. President and tell him that he gave him 6 roads. And he said the tax, big companies that pay taxes, that certain percentage should be used to be paying these companies, should be paying the road going to this place. They selected 6 critical roads, and the southeast one was Enugu-Onitsha, and it was MTN that they assigned that one to. Dangote and Co. got their own in Lagos South, some other place, Boa, others. Unluckily, when Governor Mahi became minister, we were happy that I wanted Minister of Works. So they ran into crisis with them. I even made a statement on that, and they called me. He said, Osita, did you come to ask me what happened? I said, sir, what am I asking you? Supervise the road with your men. Whatever you tell MTN to pay, they will pay. They don't pay directly. They pay from what is approved. I said I've corrected that. I said, okay, if you have done that, that's good. But you can imagine the speed that was hunted. So these are some of the jigsaw puzzles in governance. But I'm happy Omahi was able to correct himself to know that that tax scheme paid off. Not only for the Saudis, but for the geopolitical zones. Because no governor or no president, no governor will ask his executive to confront the House of Assembly or the Senate or the House of Reps.
Okay, very quickly, because I'm sure our time is running. You want to use the term, and that term for it appeared derogatory, but for others it maybe you spoke truth to power. Those they call internally displaced politicians, and then that's a big one, and that you use that to describe people who are leaving PDP to other parties. And now it would appear that these IDP politicians are in your party in their numbers. Do you see a risk of them vandalizing the APC?
Let me start from where I came from. When we were in the CPC, for instance, in the fourth CPC, where I ran for governorship in Enugu in 2011. And along the line, one day, they call us in the village and say, got a big fish, he's coming. And I would tell them, that's not how we are taught in political science. We are taught that if you have only 10 members in Enugu, grow those 10 members, leave them to mutate on their own. They didn't find it convenient. And I told them, those who are coming, are they coming with the voters? Ask yourself, in every political system in liberal democracy, if you want the map of America politically, you see blue and red. So I remained Republican for 100 years plus. They don't bother about that. What the blue Democrats will worry about is what is that thing that is making us not take those votes. That's the problem Trump has today, because he tried to overreach himself. What happened? He lost Texas. One critical House of Reps in Texas, a red state for centuries. So what am I saying? That was the angle I was coming to. But as well, in politics, if you stage a market, you open a market in Amole, that is not the old market, and people start coming to the market, you'll be an idiot to sweep them away. So we're not sweeping anybody.
You're changing your music.
No, we're not sweeping anybody. What I mentioned about the ID card.
Yes.
Was that suddenly one day, Ugabala came, I was then in the Voice of Nigeria, he came to the office. I embraced him because we're friends. I said, my brother, this day you remembered me, that's good, find him to this and that and that. He said, no, I didn't come for that. I said, what's up? He said that Governor Hopuzodima of Imo had directed that he should be the new chairman of APC. I said, which place? He said, I said, no. That I came from Enugu last weekend. That we met and we had a meeting. And we nominated one SU there as our presumed candidate. That between me, my little faith in Christianity, how do I tell a young man that was with us from day one that governor here or there said you should be. I won't back him. I said, Osita, you don't understand. I said, my brother. I said, my brother, you were there when we were battling, losing the election up and down here. If you want to enter, go and register. No, he had registered in his word. I said, no. That when His Excellency Sullivan Chima and Kenamade came, that we celebrated it. That you're a big fish. If you're coming, let us know. Let's celebrate you. Don't go through the back door. That because that you said you came from back door, that's more reason why I should not support you. Because I believe that this world is transparent, is a transience, and I don't need to cut corners. Only suddenly, he opposed him back from coming. They said he appeared. I said, how? That was the only thing I said. I said, remember, take note to, maybe you don't know him well. Because for me, for some of us who do not have foresight, a student of history will rely on hindsight. If you did this before, did that before, I will come again. I don't need to go to any herbalist or pastor. I said, oh boy, if you did to observe before, we cannot go this way now. To the extent, I told him, I said, look, that in one of the local council elections, I came to Gonogwai. I said, sir, each time you do local government election, does it cost you anything to lose one seat out of 260 councillors? He said, Osita, but not for that. He said, we always win in Eken. That my brother was Dash minister and Dash DG. That Eken people honor it and they want to give us support. He said, okay, if you win, but I won't dash you as well.
You don't dash it.
So we agreed on that. He said, come on, go and meet Ugabala. He's in charge of food. I remember when people came here pleading for 25% for Buhari. That some other individuals refused when people have left. Let it not be that governor took a decision. Go and talk to him. So I came to Ugo. I said, what? CEO. He said, I said, yes. I said, that's a clear argument that if you get 259 councillors and you lose one seat, that doesn't cost anything. It can even be a flower to democracy. That the governor said he should cross-check with him. And we parted. On the election day, one of my village boys, the photos have been tallied at the collation center. The guy came with a jeep with some other hoodlums and carried the box. My people wanted to, I said, please don't kill anybody. Let's go to Uti, where the final result will be announced. And I will see Ugabala because I had a discussion with him on that. At least let him just count that box. Got to Uti, met to Ugo. And they explained my predicament to him and told him that these boys are getting to fight, but I don't want anybody.
He was still in PDP then?
Yeah, he was an advisor.
Okay.
He was an advisor to Wai. He was an advisor. Guess what? He just ran into the hall. I came to the hall to enter. They said, are you an agent? I said, no. I said, hey, I'm DJ. I said, which DJ now? I said, okay, go and call him back for me. They said, okay, is it not funny? I told him, he can come out here. I said, gentlemen, you don't know me. I'm so number of years that I'm getting to 71. In Udi here, that they barricaded me. They say, oh guys, it's not that age matter now. And that's why we don't want to wound you. Because if we wound you now.
Hey, God of Israel.
They say that's why we don't want to wound you because of your age. So we have great respect for you. We go and sit on that mango tree. If the man comes out, you don't tell him. I just got out people. I said, forget it. Let's go. I said that you want to be chairman. You again.
Okay.
So that was the working rights.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, very quickly. You have joined voices and calls for the release of Nnamdi Kanu to foster peace in the Southeast. Do you believe if Nnamdi Kanu is released today, there is peace in the Southeast?
I don't want to talk about Nnamdi Kanu seriously. You know why? Because I know when he was living in Oxford, He lived near my schoolmate. He eat rights after Sundays with him, and he will keep on telling my friend that his girl had become popular. That time he was with Wazirike. And my friend was warning him. I said, please, leave the Igbo people to rest. Let us find our feet. And I'm one of those who keep on saying that if you don't have foresight, learn from hindsight. Every one of us knows about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. After the Second World War, the Chinese people gathered themselves together. But I had a meeting with General MacArthur at the Yacht by the seaside. MacArthur said, what is it about? They said, one piece. He said, yes. They said, yes. That was what catapulted the Japanese economy to where it is today. By 1945, nobody knows about Toyota. Toyota is today's #1 car manufacturing company in the world. There are about 20 plants in the US. And US is their big ally. Those who bomb them. I'm saying for my people that we're industrial, we're hardworking. We can advance this place if no other place. But we cannot advance it with war or insurgency. Because a little I studied in strategic studies. There are two ways to become a country. Either by diplomacy or by war. So if you know you cannot win by war, the best is to adjust and know how best to improve your life. I visited Barcelona sometimes a year. So my good friend who is from there, he said, Osita, you cannot end in the township. You have to go to the village to see my father. So the father was 91 years old. Immediately I said, Okechukwu, he said, are you Igbo? I said, yes, sir. I said, how do you know that? They laughed. He said, we share the same glory with you people. We have been fighting here for secession of Barcelona, what they call the Catalonia. But at a certain point, some of us sat back and said it won't happen again. And we made this region just in this country. You know our football club, I said there, he said we'll own it. It's owned by shareholders, more than 100,000 shareholders that vote accordingly for the president of Barcelona Football Club. That is our pride. Not that we're not participating with the Spanish people, the other regions. We are participating with them. We're not the pride of the place because about a century ago, we cast away that idea. I would have seen the beneficiary it is to us that Spain is great because of us and because of others. I think that is my position. I'm not saying the release. The matter is in court as a roadside lawyer. I was advised in law that whatever is in court
should not be discussed.
Unless you want to be contentious.
Okay, I want direct answers to these as fast as we can. We're battling with almost 10 minutes. I'm a Nigerian. I'm also on the streets. Truth is, many Nigerians feel disconnected from the current leadership in Nigeria. What do you think is responsible for this growing gap between the citizens and their leaders?
No, what the mistake you make is that you are trying to create a buffer.
For who?
A buffer of the light we are seeing at the end of it.
Which light?
The light of foreign direct investors.
Where?
In Nigeria.
That's an APC song.
No, it's not an APC song.
The Nigerians are not singing the same song.
No. What you are saying is that you just make a blanket. What percentage are you talking about? Here there's hunger in the land. But are there solutions? These are what is not working. These are what is working. But you are not even talking of anything working.
Okay, let me be specific. This leadership of APC, President Tinubu said, if I don't give you steady power supply, don't vote for me. Don't give me a second tenor. Do we have steady power supply in Nigeria?
Did you hear yesterday when the Minister of Power apologized
To what?
to the plenty power supply?
So
And said the solution is on the line.
why would you just trust another promise from the APC government?
No. But
That was
but
one
you
that
accept
was.
the apology as well?
Which people?
The minister.
We have to ask Nigeria
the
whether
Minister of the Federal
they've
Republic.
accepted it.
The
We
Minister of
have
the
to ask
Federal
Nigeria.
Republic.
We have to ask Nigeria whether they've accepted
What
it.
am I saying? I'm trying to tell you that we know what they're saying. And we feel it. We're in the same market.
Is the promise not kept?
We're in the same market with you.
Okay.
But what we're saying is that there's at the end of the tunnel. That's the
We've
truth.
gotten to the end of that tunnel and we're not seeing any.
I told you of yesterday, am I the one that organized the summit? A group came and said a megawatt that is in a container. You are not buying the megawatts. They are bringing it to you. All you just need is to have your bank to do an agreement with them in case you carelessly burn it down. And if you don't burn it down, what you do is to pay as you consume.
You know what I would have wanted to.
You know
what I would have wanted to.
If you know how the Freedom Square, the consumption of kilowatts, if you let them know, I'll give you the address. They will configure a container for your business, your studio, and your broadcast. You don't need to lose light anymore. What you just need is to pay about 145 per kilowatt on your consumption. Fee for pay, only for facts. You have no business with the EEDC. You just have business with them, and luckily for them, like data in your phone, it's one of the new markets in the world where they don't go after their debtors. The only thing is that if you don't pay, they will take their lights. So these are improvements coming. Don't wish it away. You are not there as a young person. There was a time, if you come from Sunday Mass, our happiness after returning from Mass is to eat rice. Because rice is eating was on Sunday that time. Then my father would say, go and get that thing. What is it my father would tell him to get? Gramophone. I whine. And the Israel war band go. The music starts and we dance. Suddenly I didn't see the telephone, the gramophone again. So science, technology, don't you don't believe that the greatness is the faithfulness of God? Science is what God used to change the world, and it's coming into Nigeria.
Okay, basically my last question is if you had an opportunity, in fact, of course you have the opportunity, but if you had to advise this current leadership about 3 things they will do to gain the confidence of Nigerians, because the truth is, the people have no confidence in the leadership, whether you agree or not. You are speaking like an establishment person. I'm speaking as a man on the road. Okay? But if you are to make a prescription to turn things around, what would be their prescription about at least 3 top things the government should do urgently to restore people's confidence?
Not from my canvas with the people of this part of the world. What is release of Nandina? Because I could see that if it's released, that people will breed. One. Secondly, is for us here, the government is on a one-way traffic. We can claim today as Igbos to have one of the highest Nigerians abroad across the globe. But unluckily, when you go to Haneze, Odibo Conference, you will see them beating the drum of yesterday. Tell them that if they are there beating the drum of yesterday, this place cannot develop. One time in New Jersey, there's one age of 4. He was wearing general uniform, this and that and that. And one of them, general, I don't want to name his name, raised his hand and said, 4 of 4 generals were dismissed from the army by Buhari. 3 Igbo. He named himself named Tefke. So when they finished, I got up. I said, my brothers, the Germans were devastated like Igbo land, Second World War. I mentioned the Japanese. Are they still friends of America? They said yes. I said, you know why? They cannot fight for yesterday. I said, Jofo, you are clapping about what this general said. General, please, do you know Brigadier Wiwa? He said yes. I said, do you know the other colonel? He said yes. I said, give me a second. I went to the business center of the Sheraton Hotel in New Jersey and printed the 23 of them, circulated it. The man that saved me was late Nsofo, Justice Nsofo, who was ambassador. They say, these Buhari people here come with confusion again. How can you circulate this? Ambassador Nsofo raised his hand. They said, what is that? He said, people are there with your laptops. Can't you Google your own and know whether what he's saying is a lie? And they did. That was what that general sold there. Fake news that impacts on his own country. There are able doctors who can ship equipment back here, even to advance those primary health centers. But because the news they get here is, this and that had happened. No. Let us not die for yesterday. Let's look for the future. Because the world had changed. And they had always changed. So I'm advising the government my own way. But my advice, the government had done one bit by opening the doors for foreign direct investment. And by also making sure that whatever is due to each state and local council, you have been a local government chairman. How many people in Ogun local government queries the chairman of the Ogun local government?
The youth are doing that now.
They are doing that.
They are doing that now.
Then the people.
Social media never.
You are lucky. You are lucky. We held a meeting. The people held a meeting with the local government, with the governor. Everybody there raised his hand and said we support it. I'm not saying the man is not doing well. but if you call another local government meeting in Obomosho, the people might support their chairman because they are talking about welfare. Those who are attacking Mba mostly are saying Mba is not doing welfare. You tell them about Mba's project, they say no, forget about that. Women to die on road. So it's a counterpart. Especially, I'm pleading with the Igbo people. Please, there's a masquerade in my place. It's the face and the back. They say, why is the face? Say it's fighting for yesterday. Don't fight yesterday. Look for the future and develop this place. Call us our brothers to bring us investors. Anybody that says he's blocking you to see Mr. President in Abuja, let me have the documents. I will see his caucus people. Even if I don't see him, I will see the chief of staff and others and give them. And say these people are investors. That these people who wanted to bring them want to take bribe. Nobody that wants to bring his money to your place to invest. He's not a contractor. So why are you asking him for money? That's what's chasing some of them. And the fake news being bandied by the Igbos abroad. Nothing is working here. This and that happened. He can walk. He can walk. Are you God? How do you say this place? A land of capable people, brilliant, industrial by nature, skillful. You say the place cannot grow. How? That's my advice on both sides.
Okay, with that, I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Osita Okechukwu for finding time to be with us. The past 1 hour has been quite incisive, and I guess we'll try from his fountain of knowledge. We do hope that when next we'll invite you, find time to come.
I'm also praying for your medium to grow. I know how difficult it is to grow medium. And thank your crew and your people for their patience. I know how hard it is. That the business of hardship is what is being drawn. The bias and the big.
Thank you very much. And join us same time tomorrow for yet another edition of Political Conversations. Have a lovely day ahead.